Hello and welcome to the top 10 games of 2024 stream. I've moved over to this channel now, but despite the fact that obviously it's not going to be retro games because it's games that are released in this year. But yeah, it promises to be a good one. Another amazing year for games. It's been, it's been crazy. Like last year was insane as well. And what the one caveat to mention at the start is obviously I only talk about games in the main top 10 of ones that I've actually finished because I don't tend to want to like say if they're definitively good or not if I haven't. So you might find some sort of obviously good games. You'd be like, "Where's that?" And then at the end, I'll just show the ones that I thought were, excellent games that just happened to evade me this year. I haven't finished them or played them. Right. All right. Without further ado, then let's get over it. So we've got one sort of honourable mention because for the number 10 slot, there's two games that are basically interchangeable. So I do want to at least highlight this as a good game. So if I press this, the honourable mention is. That's right, it's Focus Entertainment's very own Space Marine 2, Peggy 18. So yeah, obviously an excellent game. Like I think it's pretty much around the review sphere. Everybody knows this is great. Like really incredible graphics and like just sheer amount of enemies on screen, and yeah, just really good three-player like squad-based multiplayer. And great difficulty, and the weapons feel like really visceral. You get to obviously do the jump pack like this and use the hammer. How loud is the stuff in the background, Jim? Is it quite loud? So I might turn it down a bit. I don't want it to like override. It's just there for sort of ambiance. But yeah, so absolutely brilliant game. No qualms with it. But it just goes to show the quality we've got. Because obviously, I would say this is probably the equal of the one in the number 10 slot. Okay, that's all right. It's not meant to be that. But I just wanted to highlight the other game more because this is kind of a known quantity that everyone, if you like 40k, you're obviously going to play this. And just even if you don't, if you like sort of Destiny-like online multiplayer shooters, it's really good and great challenge level. The final boss especially is fantastic. Just some really very good scenes in general. Right, let's move on to number 10 then. Right, so number 10, this is a very off-the-wall, oddball game. It's the most British game ever released, I would say. It's basically just going around a town in the like English countryside, and it's just, if you live in England, you'll get a lot of the insane references and just the sort of great voices. You've got like Matt Berry doing some of the voices. It's just, you go around, you've only got one button, you like interact with things, and it's just great stories. And it's like probably one of the funniest games I've ever played. Like the great joy of this game I love is the finale, the ending of the game, is made me actually have like tears of laughter down my face. Like, I can't tell you the last time a game's done that. It's unbelievably good. Like the ending is like reward in itself. So yeah, and it just stands alone. There's nothing like this. Like there's no game that's done this sort of British humour sensibility. Like if you like Shooting Stars and all that, Vic and Bob and just sort of slapstick and stuff, it is just absolutely fantastic and well worth it. And it's only like a cheap game to get as well. It's just yeah, so that's on the number 10 slot. So if I go this here, go into numero 9, Nintendo Switch, what's that in? Okay, yeah, so this is a game that falls right into my wheelhouse. Games that I love are very much like Fez, like really interesting multi-layered puzzle games. This is one of them, and most of the time that sort of game would be higher, but it just happens to be, it didn't quite... The story was a bit incomprehensible and it didn't really land for me. I didn't really understand the actual story. But the puzzles in it are really cool. There's some good meta puzzles. You have to put a lot of sort of smaller puzzles together in your mind to work out an overall larger puzzle. And there's a lot of variety as well. And the art style is very interesting, although it's not very flashy. Also, there's not really much frustration. Like the things that would normally annoy you in a puzzle game, they sort of take that away. So a lot of the stuff, you might have read it once, kind of in a corner by accident. They save all of that in a book, so you have the book available the whole time. So you're not going to run into the sort of problems that you might, which would discourage you from playing a puzzle game. Oh crap! Oh, what have I done here? Uh-oh, we might be in trouble here. Oh no! Give me one sec. Give me one sec. Let me just do this. All right. It might be a disgrace. I don't want to have to restart the stream. That was such a bad thing. Okay. So yeah, let's go on to the next game, which is, oh god, this is going to be an absolute problem. If I turn that off, go here, and then turn it on. That might work. Okay, yeah, so the next one is another game that's right in my wheelhouse, Animal Well. And if I have like done the post-game stuff, it might have actually been higher, but this game is incredible. It's way better than it probably looks here. It looks like a kind of normal but cool art style Metroidvania. But some of the stuff you do, like loads of really interesting... Oh god, hang on. Uh-oh, what just happened? Alright, loads of interesting interactions in this game with like you get the items you get are not like a double jump or like lava boots or whatever. You get like a discus and a yo-yo and a slinky, really weird objects that you might not at first understand why they're good, and there's so many things you can do with each one. But the main joy of this game comes from the meta level puzzles, like the depth of which I had to go to get where I got to is absolutely ridiculous. You know, collecting all these eggs and decoding them in binary and using clock faces to do it, and that gets you so far. But then even after you do that, which is a big ending part of the game, there's still quite a bit more to go. You've got all these like hidden rabbits to find and stuff. It just gets so complicated that even I ran out of patience for it, and I've done everything in Fez, so that tells you the kind of just sort of genius level you need to be if you actually want to complete the whole game. It's crazy. So wonderful game, and I was hooked on it for the whole time I was playing. But it got frustrating when it really goes like deep as far as, you know, maybe if I was a bit younger I'd sort of dig into it more. But yeah, awesome game, and I'm shocked. It's surprising this isn't higher. I think like when you've got games at the beginning of the year, you don't they sort of fall a bit to the wayside, so they don't go quite as, you know, in the front of your mind when you're doing game of the year. But yeah, excellent game. Right, let's go on to the next one. Right. Uh-oh. Oh, no. We've got problems. Hang on. We've got problems. Oh, how am I going to do this? Now I do this. Oh, wait a minute. So plus... How am I... No, minus that. And then plus... That's it. Right. Okay, cool. We did it. So yeah, number 1000X Resist. So this is like sort of darling in the review sphere. Like, it's a visual novel style game. But instead of... instead of being... just a visual novel, you actually move around in a 3D space. It's like a sci-fi post-apocalypse thing, and it is incredible. This game goes, you know, another game where I got hooked on it the whole time and just played. It's really long as well. It does so much stuff, like really interesting narrative you've got to pay a lot of attention to. You can't just sort of half read this. You need to really be all in. But the characters are amazing, and it goes through like loads of different time zones, so that like a lot of big sci-fi, it's not just, you know, the lifespan of one character. It goes through sort of generational stories as well. It's crazy, like really cool. The ending's incredible, and you've got like lots of things you can do to change which ending you get. It's awesome game. Just yeah, really cool. They didn't spend much effort on the like graphics. You can see they're sort of quite minor, but the voices and all that, and the writing is just absolutely up there. And really cool game. 1000X Resist, yeah, a high recommend from me. Right, let's go on to numero 6 more. Hopefully if it works. Right, cool. Stellar Blade, yeah. So I think this one's obviously on a lot of Game of the Year. It's just an insanely good action game. It's like a kind of faster Dark Souls style. It's a bit more like Bayonetta and all that, I guess. One of the things that just carries this game to near the top is the music. It's unbelievable. It's one of those games where I just listen to the music loads even after I finished it. And the ramp up of the combat difficulty in this game is excellent as well. I find it that's probably one of the hardest things to do in these like RPG-like character action games. Is it might start out difficult because you don't have many abilities, but once you level up a bit, and obviously look at the environments, the bosses, like the costumes, it's just like an absolute tour de force. But once you've powered up a little bit, it can be hard for it to balance. Like it might become too easy quickly. But they really did an amazing job in this. It stays really difficult in interesting ways for a long time. And mega shout out to the last boss fight, which is awesome. It does all the things I want it to, where the final like villain or whatever, he has a really good monologue where it's like interesting stuff where you have to like think about whether you should join him or not. It is actually interesting. So yeah, really, and then obviously you can choose to fight him, and then that fight is incredible as well. So yeah, fantastic. They really landed everything on Stellar Blade. So that's a very high recommend from me. Right, move on to numero 5 more. Right, what have we got here? I can't even remember, John. It's the game of the year. The game was Astrobot. So yeah, another game where I got it in a weekend and just played it solidly until I completed it. This is absolutely brilliant. If you're any fondness for like old PlayStation games, you have to play this. It just has so many amazing deep cut references to like games, and obviously the gameplay is really fun. There's an unbelievably good, like probably the best moment of the year is like in one of the final bits of this. They have like a spaceship bit, and it's got. I don't want to spoil it, but the spoiler that doesn't tell you what it is they know that what the music they put in that stage is so good. It has a little call out in the corner that tells you the track and where it's from, and it doesn't do that for the rest of the game. So it's like they know exactly what they're doing. Like that bit with that soundtrack is a 10 out of 10. It's like the best moment of the year. And the fact that they called it out and actually named the track, I love it. Like they know what they've got here. And they've got the special levels like Ape Escape and all that based on old games. They've even got a Devil Dice shout out, which I love. Yeah, it's awesome. If you want a game that's just fun the whole time and does loads of interesting gameplay stuff, yeah, this is the one. And they've even done some DLC I need to play now. which it wasn't available when I first got it. But yeah, really, really kicks ass. And a lot of the all the graphics aren't like unbelievable. There are loads of interesting physics stuff you wish more games would do. Like they really put a lot of effort into like water simulation and tons of object physics simulation and things like that. Yeah, fantastic. It doesn't really need any more shout out because everyone knows how good Astro Boy is. But yeah, I think that's a must play. Right, let's move on to numero 4. Alright, this is a nice sort of like big surprise to me at the end of the year. I only started playing this in December and it just hooked me. And this is a game where everything that Red Candle makes is amazing. Basically, they made Detention and Devotion, which we streamed, and they were both brilliant. They were both horror games. But this is a Hollow Knight, basically. It's just I say a copy of Hollow Knight, but obviously they did their own thing. The art's a lot better for a start, but the boss design in this is as close to flawless as you get. Basically, what I like to do in games like this, when you meet a new boss, I think you shouldn't be able to just clear it. It should be basically impossible to do the first time because you don't know anything about what he's doing, or what moves they're going to do, or what you should avoid. And then you slowly learn, oh, I know how to deal with the first 3 moves or whatever. Then it'll do more, and then you beat the first life bar, and then it turns to another boss, and you've got to like learn all that and beat it. And it just, yeah, they did all the way throughout the game. They did that, and the shout outs to the Lady Ethereal boss is absolutely incredible. The art in that is awesome. The actual boss is brilliant. It's got 3 amazing phases, and then the very last boss fight is perhaps one of my big achievements of the sort of this year, I guess, is that I felt that I was able to beat that because the last boss, that's the Lady Ethereal one. The final boss in this is one of those where first time you go into it, all of its attacks are like mega powerful and fast, and I just die instantly, and you just do that for a while. Then you start to learn that, then you sort of be able to beat the first phase, and as soon as you get into the second phase, it adds in loads of unblockable attacks that just kill you, and you're like, well, this is ridiculous. But then, like, you persevere, learn each thing, and I was able to flawless the first phase, and it's so amazing to go. It takes hours to go from a point where you think, I'll never beat this, and then you don't even get hit once, and then the second phase is still hell, and you just clear it, and then you've done the game. But just the fact they managed to do that for the whole game, just a testament to how great Red Candle are, an absolute masterpiece, and like still below Hollow Knight, because that's just the greatest Metroidvania probably ever made, but it's only just below that. It doesn't quite have the sense of exploration that one did, but the combat is far and above the best. It's incredible. So yeah, well done, Nine Souls. That jumped out at me at the last minute to change my top 10. Right, on to number 3. Right, Intense Violence, that's my favourite. The EDF6. Yeah, I think this is probably going to surprise some people because, like, in most years, an EDF game comes out and you probably think, oh, cool. It's like, uh-oh, is this going to be a video? Oh, yeah, it's got sound. Something wrong here. Anyway, yeah, EDF6. So a lot of the EDF games, they're really fun, but you probably think, well, it's quite brainless. You just like get new weapons, fight a load of monsters, and then new enemies appear, new environments, and you shoot them, and you get more weapons. And it's just that. For the first 5 games, it is that. But the stuff they did in this one is unbelievable. If you like the EDF series and you play the other ones, you've got to get this one because it does sort of mind-messing stuff where it refers to old ones. It's to do with time travel. I won't give away much more than that. But you have to like do missions from EDF 4 or 5, and it'll go to the theme of that game. Then you'll like. There's times when you're like walking off the map into a void of darkness because that's not part of the past. There's loads of really interesting stuff. And the last fight in this game is absolutely insane. It feels like it's from another generation of consoles. It's absolutely incredible. And some of the stuff that happens like in the dialogue and in what you're doing is 10 out of 10. And it just, even finding how to select the next mission sometimes is a meta game in itself. Just, yeah, unbelievable. I didn't ever imagine they would make an ES game as good as this. And they did. So, yeah. A must play. If you like anything about the other old EDF games, especially if you've played 4 and 5, you'll not only will this be a great game in what you're expecting, it will do a load of good stuff you don't expect. So yeah, it's like they got a new team in to do the narrative or something. Right, time to move on to number 2. Yeah, I kept climbing when I was looking at my list. Like, it's better than this, better than this. It's just, yeah, I can't believe it. Like, best EDF game by a country mile. Unreal. Right, let's move on to number 2. This one's at number 2. I don't want this to be at number 2 because it's not the sort of game I like. But I've played the most of this all year, and it's been there when I've wanted to just relax. I'm having a good time. You don't want to put some effort into a game. You just want a game to like sort of help you mentally and just like play a game. It's this one. I've just played this hundreds and hundreds of hours. It's just the best for this, and it's not a surprise it got like a Game of the Year nomination in the Game Awards. It's a game that you might think you won't like, but it is amazing. Like, I don't like roguelike games in general. They probably never come up in my Game Awards ever, I think. But I took this one on a chance because everyone was recommending it. It is absolutely phenomenal, especially if you're a maths head like I am. it looks like nothing basically when you look at this, but it's so fun and like addicting. You know, I've played just so much of this game that I had thought I can't, you know, put this one down at the end of the year because it really just made me want to play it over and over compared to everything else. So Balatro, absolutely huge, yeah. And that probably leaves you probably no surprise what number one is, based because considering what my number one was in 2017, I think, because it's the sequel and it's like one of my favorite games of all time. Number one is going to have to be the greatest RPG in a long, long, long time. It's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Yeah, this game, man. The first 9 chapters of this game are like absolutely godly, and I don't think they could have done a better job. This has got like, it made me cry multiple times. It's so intense emotionally. Like the Gold Saucer chapter with Barrett is the best chapter in video games. Basically, it's insane how good that one is. And all the stuff with Zack is flawless. Like they couldn't have done a better job. The bit with Zack, there's one screenshot in this game, or still you could reveal, which is like the most poignant and sad thing I think I've ever seen in gaming. It's insane. I can't believe how well they did it. The only problem is after chapter 9 it goes down a bit. Like the last few chapters are kind of bad, but the fact that you get like 40 hours or whatever of just basically flawless game design is insane. It's unreal, and the music is 10 out of 10, easily the soundtrack of the year as well. So yeah, and the graphics are really good. Insane. It's another one of those, like when God of War 1 came out, or God of War 2016 or whatever, I thought, wow, this is a 10 out of 10. They're never going to do a sequel better than this, and they did it with Ragnarok, and that's exactly like Final Fantasy VII Remake came out. I was like, wow, this is a 10 out of 10. They're not going to do a better job, and they did. So yeah, play this game at least to chapter 9. Like the Zack's house chapter bit is ridiculously incredible. Just everything that is Zack based in this game was executed. It's just to an insane degree. Oh yeah, how do I do this next bit? So if I go right, so what we'll do, we normally after this we'll do like the games that I played that I didn't finish that I think are good, and the El Shaddai Award. But we've got, because in the last couple of years, because VR is getting good, really good, we've got the best VR games of the year. I've only got top 2 this year because there was only really 3 games that so I thought I'd just do a top 2. So if I go to this one, yeah, top VR games of the year, and then we go like this. That's it. Right, so number 2 is the Metro Awakening VR, which is amazing. This is, if you've never played Half-Life Alyx, and you haven't got like a PC, you've only got PSVR, get this. This is about as close as you're going to get, because it's like a really long game with excellent interaction, like really good horror, like crazily good horror, probably too bad unfortunately. Really excellent use of all the Metro mechanics, like with you can see the filters, you've got to wipe the mask, you've got to reload correctly, you've got to do your lights and electricity. All the interactions with the environment are really good. You can push doors and hide behind things. It just, yeah, I can't believe how well they did this. Like, you know, wouldn't be like my first choice of best VR game possible, you know, to do in VR. But as far as what they have with the material they're using, they couldn't have done a better job. This is Metro in VR, and it's exactly what you want it to be. And it's just extremely long as well. If anything, it might even be too long. That's why I compare it to like Half-Life, because there's not many, if any, you know, big VR games that are actually as long as this. This really pushes you. Loads of good weapons that work in different interesting ways. Like, yeah, excellent game. It's only number 2 because the number 1 is one of the greatest games I've ever played in my life. I better get off that. So yeah, number 1, this game is one of those games. The trailer will just look bad. Like, I don't think anyone would want to buy this game off the trailer, but it sparked something in me. It's almost like a Mario 64 moment where, you know, the freedom you have in this game to do, I'll just bring it up, to do cool stuff, like, and it's like playing Diablo in 3D. I don't know, I was thinking about it all the time when I wasn't playing it. I would just constantly want to do like cool moves against enemies or learn new skills, and it's like cooperative, so I play it with Jimbo. I love this game so much. I don't think I've played a better VR game that I enjoy more. It feels so amazing to play. Like, you come up against the boss and you can like duck his strikes and like throw your shield at him, and then like fire a charged arrow at him or punch magic at them. You got to try and find secrets and like climb ladders. You know, it does the fantasy stuff to just an insane degree, which I can't tell you how amazing this game feels to play. Like, there's brilliant bits where like Jimbo is like, what, you know, he's doing this over a rope across a cavern. You don't want to fall because obviously you feel ill. Like, and then I'm there trying to like shoot enemies away from him whilst he's doing that, because he's like helpless, because he literally is only he can't carry his sword because he's doing this. And it just, yeah, and the armor, when you put it on, like the helmet, it changes your person, and you can see it in the mirror like what the armor looks like. I mean, yeah. I wish, because this is only like quite a very small team doing this. I wish like Sony or one of the big ones like Valve would make a game like this and put tons of money in so it looks amazing as well. Because I don't think the trailer looks that good really. It feels so exciting and good to play. Like, and there's like even secret areas. You might destroy a wall, and you've got these weird things going on that you wouldn't expect. It just feels so like an adventure. And you can hold weapons in special ways, that you can hold them in different grips, however you think you should hold it. Like, it's not set. You're climbing ropes, you're climbing ladders. You're blocking stuff. You can parry. You can like attack their limbs. Yeah, actually, this trailer does show some of the cool stuff you can do. And when you find a unique weapon, it's so cool because you'll see it like in 3D and VR. You're doing this like amazing charge nuclear shot or whatever. It's just oh boy, you can't. Yeah, look at this. At least you can see the sort of things you can do. Wonderful game. Yeah, this is good. At least it's showing the good stuff in the trailer. It's the things you can do. And the fact that it's like up to 4-player online as well. Yeah, the boss is amazing. That's one of the most exhilarating fights I've had in a long time. Me and Jimbo against the big skeleton boss. Yeah, look at this. Alright, yeah, I will say the trailer shows you the actions. It just doesn't graphically look like anything, especially when it's in 2D like this. And you're like creating town portals like this and like punching firebolts out of your arms. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, right. So that's all the like games of the year stuff out of the way. So let's go to games that I thought were amazing that I didn't finish that you probably would expect to see. So you got obviously Indiana Jones and the Great Circles, and you just come out. So I started it. Seems great. I would definitely be on the list. I don't think it would be at the top or near the top, but it would be on there. Like, it's really fun, but it's not exceptional. I just think it's really good. Metaphor is amazing. That would probably be near the top. It's like a Persona-based RPG, but with a new environment, and they do a lot of new stuff. Really compelling RPG. It's fantastic. It's a real big shout out to Scold Black Priory, because that's a game where it's the sort of game that you think would only appeal to me. I was like, wasn't that last year, Jimbo, or was it? You have to let me know. I'm not doing DLC because the Elden Ring DLC would be on here if that was the case. But yeah, Scold is like a game that's done in a Commodore 64 graphics style, but released on Steam. So I thought, this is a fun novelty for me. I'm just getting it because I love Commodore. It's probably not a very good game. It's actually fantastic, and I would recommend it. Anyone who likes like Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff like that, or Ultima is probably the best example. It's like a top-down grid game where you're moving into grids, but the equipment's really good. It's really good, like oppressive cosmic horror atmosphere as well. Oh yeah, Skull Black Priory is amazing, and I really wish people would pay attention to it. Uden Chronicle is a Suikoden game made by the people who made Suikoden, and is amazing. A game which does some unfathomable stuff where it has like 100 characters you can play as, and they all have like all voice lines for everything, which is like, how do they even achieve that? I don't know, but amazing, really good RPG. Black Myth Wukong, obviously everyone knows about that. It's a shame I wasn't able to finish that. I've got a very long way into it, but really good. It's not as good as like the Dark Souls games, but cool, good graphics, really good intricate boss fights, and a bit like Nine Souls in that way, and excellent abilities. One of those games where, a bit like God of War, where you get power-ups all the way for ages, like 15 hours in, you're getting a new system you didn't know was available, where you can turn into a creature or whatever. So that's cool. It's always exciting because there's going to be new interesting powers you're going to get, which don't relate to other ones you've had before. Metaphor is amazing, dude. Yeah, you will not regret it. Really cool. Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. That's a game which maybe would probably make like 10 on the list. It's not amazing. It's like another Metroidvania, not as good as Nine Souls, but pretty cool. Like better than you probably would expect from a Ubisoft Metroidvania game. That's good. And then one that wouldn't fit on the screen, Pacific Drive, Jimbo. That's an amazing game. We'll probably never finish because it's too hard. But one where you drive your car through like Pacific Northwest, and there's loads of like sort of cosmic horror weird things. You have to analyze them and work out what they're doing. Really interesting and like oppressive atmosphere again, and all sorts of weird things can happen to you in that game which is like unexplained, and you're building your car up and trying to like armor it and stuff. So if you're a mechanic like we are, it's fantastic, and it's a good game. Right, okay, so what's left after this? Right, so the El Shaddai Award is best game that we played this year, or finished this year, I suppose, that came out in an earlier year. And Jimbo will know this. This is the other VR game, which is like a Mario 64 moment, where there's a sequence of events in a level in this game which I'll never forget in my entire life. It's probably the most intense gaming experience I've ever had in my life. Crossfire Sierra Squad. I think this is a game which doesn't review very well. It needs to be played in co-op. Like in single player, it's fine. They do quite a good job. But it's basically like you can see here, almost like a Counter-Strike, but narrative campaign game where you're meant to play in co-op against enemies, and it is amazing. Like there are a lot of levels in the game, and they slowly get harder and harder. So it starts off when it's too easy, it's kind of not that exciting. You're just going around murdering everybody, but you keep learning things, you keep mastering your weapons. And when I say mastering them, I don't mean in the game they get more stats, which they probably do a little bit, but you will master like how to really fast reload and cock the bolt and all that and hold it. Like that genuinely becomes easier and easier, like just from you doing it in VR. I love that. It feels like nothing else. And then yeah, so the very last level in the game, I think it's a really stupid name. It's like Tough Fight or something. We have both saved the video of that because it was the most intense like firefight experience like we've ever had. Because you've mastered the game. I'm carrying like 3 shotguns and grenades, and Jimbo's got like I don't know like a machine gun and a grenade launcher or something, and running around like John Wick trying to fight like about 80 guys in like 3 rooms. It's an absolute amazing. I really wish we had somewhere over here set up with like 3 or 4 PSVR 2s, and then you just go in and play Crossfire because like, there'd be so many converts. The game is astonishing. Like, it just and it's another game where a lot of times, in the old days when we were playing early VR, you'd get ill, especially like this, where you're running around constantly. There's no teleport movement, you're actually moving, and you move up and down levels like stairs and everything. But we would just do it at full speed, and I'd never even think about it. It's so immersive and so like well done and frame rate and everything. It just felt natural. It never felt ill playing that even for hours. You just feel tired from like holding things up all the time. So yeah. So there we go. So that's well done for getting the El Shaddai Award, Crossfire. That's a coveted award from us. And that is the Games of the Year 2024. Yeah, cool. All right, nice one, dudes. Anybody's got favourite games they've played this year? I'm trying to think. Anybody? Like Deadlock or whatever? Steam game, I guess. Or actually, did RoboCop come out this year? Maybe I should put that. I don't know if that was. Overall, GOTY is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I love Remake. That was my 10 out of 10 the year it came out, and it's one of the greatest games. The soundtrack is out of control, and I just love those games. So even though I didn't like the last few Rebirth, like the last few chapters, the rest of the game more than makes up for it. And it's just an absolute god game. Oh, EVE Online, nice. Best continuing game of the 2024. It's amazing what they do with that game. No one's even trying to compete in that specific space, really. They deal with Aerith, yeah. Like I say, I'm not going to spoil it, but within about 10 minutes into the game, you'll be like, oh, cool, right, okay. Because they're doing interesting things right from second one. And obviously, if you've beaten the first one, so you know that Zack exists. Everything they do with Zack is insanely incredible, and I was on the edge of my seat every time he showed up. So yeah, it is amazingly good. Tears of the Kingdom, nice. Yeah, was that this year? Bloody hell, I didn't even buy it. I kept meaning to and just didn't bother. I should really play Breath of the Wild next year. Yeah. Was it? It must have been last year, right? Because that wasn't on many Game of the Years. Yeah, because it wasn't on like the Game Awards Game of the Year. No, absolutely would have been. Okay, cool. But still great this year. Not Slay the Spire. Boo, that's the game I just can't get into. You should get Balatro, Kembo, if you haven't already. Oh, Marvel Snap, yeah. That is actually enjoyable. I played Marvel Snap a little bit. And it definitely feels like it's a good system with the sort of locations and everything. But I just thought I can't get addicted to a mobile game. I just can't do it. Still, I'm addicted to FF14 still. Yeah, Dawn Trail unfortunately wasn't like majorly good. Like they're just setting up a new arc, so it's never going to be as good as like Shadowbringers and Endwalker. But I hear the patches are good, so I'm going to get into that soon. But yeah, that was a surprise not to see out on here. Trying to think what else we played. I suppose with RoboCop this year, that might have been maybe number 10 or something. They did a great job with it though. That's the most improved developer. Like the Teon went from Rambo, which is a disaster of a game, like a 3 out of 10, to Terminator, which is really good game. It's probably about a 7 out of 10. Like they understood the Terminator world and what the job was to make a game in that world really well. And then they did RoboCop, which is like 8 plus out of 10, which is really really good game. I would recommend. All right, Christoph. Yeah, good to see you dudes here. Just trying to think if there's any other great games. It was just another absolute deluge of great games. Oh, that's another one I played. I don't know if anybody saw Road 96. I played that, the original game. That was on my El Shaddai Award like a couple of years ago. There's a sequel to it called Road 96 Mile Zero, and I only played it because it was on Game Pass for free. And it's not a sequel like in the gameplay at all. It's the same world and tone, but it's like a sort of music rhythm game in a really cool way, mainly because the tracks are incredible. I would say check out the soundtrack to Road 96 Mile Zero if you don't want to play it. That was awesome. It didn't release this year, and it wasn't as good as Crossfire, but that's a great game. Kunitsugami is a really good game from Capcom. Merry Christmas, dudes. Frostpunk 2 looks good. It's just not my style. I played the tutorial and I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm good. Vampire Survivors, the DLC for that's really good. Obviously, Elden Ring DLC is really good. Cyberpunk DLC. So yeah, good year for some downloadable content as well. EDF DLC is good. Yeah. All right. Oh, Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah. Yeah. Did you get your Steam summary or whatever? I'll put the video on for Steve if you're gonna do. Hey. Oh wait a minute. If I do this, there we go. Might as well have the video on Steve if you want it. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, did you get your Steam review of the year that comes through of like what games you've played? On mine, it was like Baldur's Gate 3. It's like every single month you played this. I was like, yeah, I know. that was the idea. So yeah, cool. Yeah, this one's for you, Steve. This is actually Steve. He's the lead guy in 140k. He's gonna be in the movie. They're calling in some people from Jersey to take part. So yeah, really cool, man. Actually, we need to see the secret level of this. Right, okay. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here for the rest of the time, but it's thanks, dudes, for joining in. It's really cool. I love doing this. It's just we're in an absolute blessed time. Even if no games came out this year, we'd have an amazing wealth of amazing retro games to play through emulation or buying them. But the fact that they're still making awesome games all the time, we're just a very lucky age. Right, that's it. Yeah, no worries, dude. That's all right. You don't have to be here the whole time. I just appreciate people tuning in. If anybody's got Amazon Prime, please subscribe to the channel. That'd be nice. Certainly would appreciate it. I get money. It doesn't cost you anything, so why not? And you get some of our special artist. Steve has drawn some emotes that you'll get. You only get if you subscribe, I think. I'll just post them in the chat. So yeah, that's yet another incentive if any were needed. Right. All right. That's me turning into a right Twitcher right now. Oh, why don't you like and subscribe? Yeah, oh, more Shining, yeah. Oh, maybe over the Christmas period, yeah. I should have done that on Wednesday. I had time to do it, but I've got no reason not to. I think I've just, like, it's been so long, I'm like, where the bloody hell am I? I'll have to, like, play a little bit off stream just to see where I am and then get into it, and then we'll stream it some more, yeah. Right. Nice one, dudes. We'll see you on the next stream. I guess, Merry Christmas all, and thank you very much for watching. Catch you next time on Retro Gamer J. Bye.